issues, doubts? Lot of doubts with Buddhism. Okay, yeah.
The knowledge of Pratyeksh Samutpad leads to Nirvana. And Buddha...
Knowledge of Pratyeksh Samutpad leads to Nirvana. That means I am not clinged. Clingingness has gone. Ignorance has gone. So, that vicious circle is broken. Fine.
And Buddha identifies Pratyeksh Samutpad with Bodhi.
It is enlightenment.
So, you said that after Nirvana, one becomes Bodhi.
Buddha didn't say that.
But who are the...
Yeah, both are same. You can have. Bodhi is reality. Nirvana is a state. Bodhi is enlightenment. Bodhi, you can say right knowledge. Nirvana is a state. Whether we become Bodhi or not, Buddha didn't speak. Because this belongs to a speculated area. And Buddha is silent on that.
So, there is no correlation between Bodhi and Nirvana. Buddha has not...
The correlation, why correlation is not there? Once you have right knowledge, once you have enlightenment, that is Bodhi, no. Isn't it? Correlation is there. But what happens after Nirvana? We will see. Yeah.
So when rebirth is explained in absence of transmigration, so does it mean that in theory of karma, the soul is not transmigrating, but the fruit of the action is still
You can understand sanskara. This is how sanskaras are passed. Fruits, isn't it? Fruits are passed. This is how we have seen in one of the links, because of the initial karmic impressions. Karmic impressions of the previous birth, consciousness is caused. Isn't it? So this is how. Because there is no permanent entity which is transferred. It is only causation. One candle is another one, this candle is lit by this candle. Now this candle is transferring all those sanskaras to lit, to fire, to give flame, to give heat, to this. लेकिन ये तो गया.
It means fruit of one soul is being reaped by another soul in the next one.
No, this is what I understood where you are. This is what I am trying to say. This is only causation. Causation occurs because of that fruits only. Fruits ऐसे रखे थोड़ी हैं. Isn't it? Fruits are itself effect and they become cause of the next thing, that thing. That is the transference of sanskaras. Isn't it? Anyway, let us see again whatever we have discussed. It's a very logical, and this is where Buddha is saying that four noble truths are there. Suffering, there is a cause, there is a cessation, and there is a path. From the second and third, we have derived Pratyeksh Samutpada. Pratyeksh Samutpada is not so complicated philosophy. कुछ है ही नहीं इसमें तो. प्रत्यक्ष समुत्पत्ति से तो ये कहना चाह रहे हैं सिंपल कॉज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशन है. ये तो हम वैसे भी मानते हैं. Isn't it? Every effect has a cause. Cause है तो इफेक्ट है. यही ना कह रहे हैं. उसका नाम उन्होंने बस दे दिया पॉलीटर्म प्रत्यक्ष समुत्पत्ति. इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं बात कर रहे हैं. It's a very logical, very practical. Yes.
Sir, we say every effect has a cause. So what is the first uncaused cause in this case?
Perfect. This is how Buddha had answered through example of two persons who stuck with that poisonous arrow. Okay? Now, which category you fall, that's your choice. If you want to ask cause of ignorance, as I told you, Buddha will tell you. But the problem is, you will ask cause of that. Buddha will tell you. You will keep on asking, Buddha will keep on telling. But I will keep on suffering. Yeah.
How is theory of momentariness is logically derived from theory of impermanence?
You see, Pratyeksh Samutpada, everything is dependent. Dependent means it is conditional. Conditional means it is dependent on its condition. Whenever condition is removed, it will go away. That simply means it is impermanent. Right? this impermanent is anityavad, means this table is what? Impermanent. Right? That logically implies it is impermanent, it means it is not permanent, no. It is subject to destruction. Right? It is subject to destruction means it logically that it is changing. Then only it will lead to the
destructive end.
इसको अपने end पे पहुंचना है ना, तो it will reach to its end only by some activity, no, isn't it? Then only it will be destroyed. Otherwise, how it will be destroyed? Hence he says that this is impermanent, and impermanent means it is changing, and changing means it is continuously changing. And then he says that it exists for a moment alone.
Impermanent does not mean changing.
Why?
The impermanence is like for a finite moment, it will remain for finite moment, and we are logically deriving that from this from finite moment that it will remain for just a moment.
Yes.
So how we are deriving?
No, it will remain just a moment, no. But that moment you see another theory that this moment, you are absolutely right. This moment has causal efficiency to cause another moment. Earth Kriyavad. Isn't it? This is causally efficient to give rise to the another movement. And Earth Kriyavad is itself nothing but the cause and effect. That is Pratyata Samutpada. That is cause and effect. If this movement loses its causal efficiency, if this movement is losing its causal efficiency, then it will won't give rise to next movement. So that is the coming out from that vicious cycle. फिर तो सारा झगड़ा ही खत्म. Then there is no issue. Getting my point? So Pratyata Samutpada, Anityavad, movement. As you said, it exists for a movement, but this movement has the causal efficiency also. Causally efficient to cause next movement, next movement, next movement.
And this is
where it is changing
continuously. There is a flow of change.
Unbroken stream. This matter as well as this soul.
Are you getting?
This is all. So, Pratyata Samutpada, that is theory of dependent origination, that is simply causal wheel of 12 dependent links. We have already seen that death is not the end of the cycle, rather ignorance, removal of ignorance is the end of these 12 dependent links. One of the important link between in these 12 links is Nam-Rupa. That Nam-Rupa is psychophysical being. This being is Nam-Rupa. Right? Now, Pratyata Samutpada, you can say that it is leading to the Anityavad. That is impermanent. Why? Again I repeat, because Pratyata Samutpada is simply talking of cause and effect. That means effect is dependent on the cause. That means everything is dependent. That means भाई मेरा फिर परमानेंट एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है. आई एम नॉट एब्सोल्यूट. देन my existence is relative, or you can say everything is subject to destruction, production and destruction. तभी उसका impermanence का मतलब है. impermanence का मतलब ही है कि भैया ये continued existence नहीं है, ये आया है तो उसको जाना पड़ेगा. लेकिन इस आने में और जाने में और क्रियावाद भी है जो कि लॉजिकली हम डिराइव कर रहे हैं. Yeah.
Sir, as Buddha says that even soul is impermanent, it is also continuously changing. So how can we comprehend our thoughts and how can we make something which seems that our soul is permanent? I mean, soul is also changing every moment. So how do we comprehend everything which we are analytically and consciously thinking and we feel that our soul is one entity?
How we are able to?
how we are able to, like I'm talking to you, so it's like my soul is talking to you.
Okay.
And my soul has all the history, what has happened and all.
Yes.
But if my soul is also changing in every moment, so how do that comprehend? I mean, doesn't it should be like I just become a madman?
This is your ignorance only. That you are attached with something permanent. Isn't it? हम तो ignorant है ना, हमें थोड़ी पता है कि soul impermanent है. अगर ये पता लग जाएगा तो problem ही नहीं है. Right? And right now what is being seen is an illusion of unity. This is what Buddha is trying to explain. कि जिसको हम permanent समझ रहे हैं वो permanent नहीं है. And hence, whatever you ask, your question is based on the belief that soul is permanent. And hence, all these questions are itself wrong basically. Because your questions are based on misunderstanding. And this is where Buddha is silent. Isn't it? But still, we will see that some opponents have criticized. Criticism hai. Right? Let us see how they criticize. But right now, I just can't move to criticism. I have to defend Buddha fully. Because then only you will be understanding. If I start discussing its criticism, then Buddha is gone. Abhi, we are right now hardcore Buddhist. Don't forget this. So never dare to raise any question against Buddhism. If we dare, तो फिर problem है. Isn't it? Questions का मतलब ये नहीं है कि इनकी authority पे question नहीं करना है. हाँ, जो चीज नहीं समझ में आ रही तो fine, we will be asking. लेकिन अभी how, why ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा थोड़ी हो सकता है, ऐसे थोड़ी, वो नहीं करना है हमने. This is our golden mantra. This is what we have already seen. And it will do magic, I tell you. Isn't it? This philosophy would be cakewalk if you follow these few things. Otherwise, we have already categorically said that this is simply flight of thought. Some people might come and he will just demolish. What nonsense! Soul is not impermanent. Soul is not momentary. Soul is permanent. A third person might come कि both of you are absolutely fools. Soul नाम की कोई चीज होती ही नहीं. Isn't it? वो तो दोनों को ही नहीं मानेगा, ना momentary, ना permanent. बोले soul वोल को चक्कर ही नहीं. This is his view, right? So let us appreciate first Buddhism, what Buddha is trying to say. And as I told you, Buddha is flawless. This we will realize over a period of time. Let us do all the schools. Let us make a survey. बोल क्या रहे हैं सब लोग? Isn't it? Then a point will come where all our questions will be answered somewhere. And then we will be realizing कि यार बुद्धा ने जो बोला वो तो सही बोल चुका था ना. सब कुछ तो बोल दिया उसने. कहाँ दिक्कत है? This is our journey, right? So, second, third, prasiddha samuspad, anityavad, and this is where one by one, either you can say from prasiddha samuspad or anityavad, we have said that it is kshanikvad, that is theory of momentariness, sanghatvad, santanvad, theory of flux. Change is the rule of the universe. All change theory, probably in the same time period, in the Greek philosopher, is also saying that everything is continuously changing. But during that time also, in Greek world, there is one person who says or who gives all change theory. He says, when I see this world, I see not a thing which is changing, only ceaseless flow of change is going on. A flow of change, just as the river is changing. This is how there is a change. There is not a single thing which is permanent over in this world. It is his view, and his view is known as all change theory. But during his time only there was a big debate, because equally great philosopher would come and he say that when I see this world, when I observe this world, I don't find any change. Change. Where is the change? He says that I don't find any change. World is world. Tree is a tree. When did tree become rabbit? And when rabbit had become stars? ये संसार पहले भी था, आज भी है, आगे भी रहेगा. Oh yeah, within this there are certain changes, but changes are not primary. Primary is unchanging. क्योंकि यार कल भी बोर्ड देखा, आज भी देखा, कल भी दिखेगा बोर्ड. कहाँ है चेंज? कहाँ हो रहा है चेंज? बात तो सही कह रहे. Where is the change? And hence he gives no change theory. Everybody has their own arguments. In this point, we need somebody who could reconcile both of these. हमें एक ऐसे इंसान के, एक ऐसे फिलोसोफर की जरूरत है जो कि दोनों का एक्सप्लेन कर दे. जब इसने दोनों का एक्सप्लेन कर दिया, all change and no change, all my that questions and that issues will be sorted out now. Then I won't be one-sided, isn't it? So this is their views. Let us see. This is how Kshanikvad changes the rule of the universe, and this is where he explains with the help of example of river and plain. We have also compared Kshanikvad with this Greek philosopher. We will again see in the Western philosophy. Second thing, from Kshanikvad you can say, or from Pratyata Samutpad you can say, that Kshanikvad is applicable only to the phenomena, phenomenal world, isn't it? It is not applicable on the Bodhi. This is absolute reality, right? Hence, Kshanikvad is applicable to phenomena, and in phenomenal world we have soul also. So this soul is also phenomenal. ये अभी जो है, ये phenomenal है, empirical है, इसको मैं experience कर सकता हूँ. I can experience. How? जैसे अभी आपने कहा ना कि suppose I am asking question, it is just like one soul is asking question to another soul. ये experience देते हैं. But this is empirical soul. And empirical soul and phenomenal soul is Niratmavad. Niratmavad means no soul theory. That is no Atma. No Atma theory. There is no Atma. But Buddha specifically, makes it clear that this Atma is actually no ego complex. I am denying ego. And of course, he is 100% right when he says that ego is ultimately unreal, because ego is the product of ignorance. And whenever ignorance goes away, ego will always be demolished. Ego will be dissolved. Ego will vanish like anything. Isn't it? And Buddha never denied pure soul, pure consciousness, true Atma, and that is Bodhi. But he did not discuss much on Bodhi. We know it. He is silent on all these things. He is trying to solve the practical issues, practical problems. Third, we have seen that is theory of karma, or we can say Sanghatva. Let us move logically only. Sanghatva, that is theory of aggregate. Sanghat means aggregate. This matter is the aggregate of momentary atoms. Then we have theory of karma. Karma theory. In ethics, you will be studying that karma theory is not any kind of, I'm just slightly deviating. Because moment karma theory comes, a particular religion comes, a particular text comes. But karma theory is a science. There is nothing to relate to with any system or any sect or any particular religion. It's a pure science. This is what you study in science. Action is reaction. Karte hai na? Action has effect. It's a cause-effect relationship. It's a purely cause and effect relationship. जैसा करोगे यार फल तो वैसा ही आएगा. इसमें religion कहाँ आ गया? It's a simply cause and effect relationship. Right? So once we say theory of karma, don't get distorted. क्या इस कर्म theory क्या है क्या नहीं है? Cause and effect. You did certain karma, hence you are at this stage. In your personal life, in your career profile, in your family, in your mental status, whatever. And future will come from here only. isn't it? This is unbroken stream. Every movement is performing certain action, and every movement is giving rise to effect. This effect is necessarily preceded by next movement, antecedent movement. That antecedent movement, that just preceding movement did something, and hence this movement has come. And this movement has did something, and next movement is going to come. ये हमने मोमेंट्स में बात करी ना, वो लाइफ में देख लें. इस मोमेंट में तो पूरी लाइफ बन रही है. Isn't it? This is theory of karma, cause and effect. And cause and effect means प्रत्यक्ष समुत्पन्न. इसलिए बार बार हम कहने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि प्रत्यक्ष समुत्पन्न is the central teaching of Buddha. Is all basic issues will be solved by pratyatha samutpada, theory of karma. And another dimension of pratyatha samutpada you can say is earth kriyavad. Earth kriyavad, that is theory of causal efficiency. A movement is causally efficient to give rise to the next movement. उसमें potentiality है, और वो potentiality कैसे आया? वो उसके बहुत सारे causes हैं. And Buddha says that there is a multiplicity of causes for that. Broadly you can say karmas, ignorance, sanskars, tendencies and all that. Isn't it? So this is how causally efficient. A seed is causally efficient to give rise to tree. Matchstick is causally efficient to give rise to spark. In this matchstick you remove this masala. इसका ये powder हटा दें. Will it give something? No. Or it loses its causal efficiency. No matter how far and how fast you rub it, it won't give you any kind of spark, because that has lost its causal efficiency, a potentiality to cause effect. Something is going to happen in your action. Once I have the right knowledge, then my action, my movement will lose its causal efficiency. It will lose its potentiality to give rise to the next movement. And hence, no further accumulation of fruit. But what about those which have been already I have accumulated? ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि anybody, some other person comes and eat my fruit. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. It is against the moral law. It is against the law. It is against the dharma. जो करेगा वही भरेगा. Done? So everything is logically, right? You just need to understand pratyatha samutpada. Logically all these doctrines are coming out. You don't have to mug up. Not at all. There is no room. But yes, you have to revise number of times. And yes, you also need to remember that pratyatha samutpada is also solving or explaining the issues of rebirth. अभी क्वेश्चन लेते हैं, वहां देखेंगे कि rebirth को explain करना है, क्योंकि rebirth is explained only by pratyatha samutpada, earth kriyavad and theory of karma. हो रहा है ना, clearly हो रहा है, isn't it? Causal efficiency, last movement, that last movement, last of last movement in our life, that is causally efficient to give rise to the next movement. तो देगा भाई. This is candle, and this candle will lit another candle. I can't help it. Isn't it? And hence the so-called next birth. There is no transmigration. For transmigration we need to have some permanent entity which is being transferred from one birth to another. But in Buddhism there is nothing, anything which is called as permanent. At least, of course, in this phenomenal world. And not only Buddha, everybody has said, Janas had also said that all our knowledge is conditional, finite, limited, partial. क्योंकि भाई हम तो इस संसार में हैं किस लिए, कब क्यों हैं? Why we are in this world? Because we are afflicted with ignorance. और अब मैं बोलूं कि I have the absolute knowledge. So don't you think this is contradiction? क्योंकि मेरा existence इस world में is only because of ignorance. And now I am feeling that I have complete knowledge. ये तो बेचारे जनाज ने कहा कि भाई तुमको एब्सोल्यूट नॉलेज हो ही नहीं सकता, then only you are in this cycle. This is what Buddha is saying, this is what other schools are saying. So rebirth is explained, and Pratyuta Samutpada is also explaining what? Nirvana. Though we will take up Nirvana separately, but still Pratyuta Samutpada is also explaining Nirvana, because the root cause of this vicious circle is beginningless ignorance. It will be removed by right knowledge, right? And this vicious circle is broken, and there will be cessation of suffering, and this is what Nirvana means. Now no more birth. Now I have come out from this cycle of birth and death. फिर किस लिए? Isn't it? But Buddha attained enlightenment, had the right knowledge, had the bodhi, even this lifetime. And we know that with the attainment of Nirvana, he did not die. Did he leave this body? Rather we know that it is only after the enlightenment, Nirvana, he survived for another 40 years something to guide others and to teach others. His life was not inactivity, rather his life was full of activity, very hectic schedule. So one thing we know it very clearly, that Nirvana does not mean death. That another thing we learned, that it can be achieved in this very life. That way we can say that it is Jivan Mukta, Jivan Mukti. As we have raised question, here also we can raise question that Buddha, you attained enlightenment, then why you are suffering? Because to live in this body is a kind of suffering. Why? Because this body has its own need. It gets tired, it gets hurt, it fell ill. When I don't have sound sleep, then I feel tiredness, lethargy. चलते हुए चोट लग गई, हाँ कोई जंगली जानवर पीछे पड़ गया, tiger started chasing, I run to save my life. This is also pain, isn't it? So we have already seen by the example of that wheel. This body, this wheel will continue to move because of the past momentum. When that past momentum, जो momentum दे रहा है, that is also exhausted, then this wheel will stop, and then finally I will leave this body also. That is known as Videha Mukti. So Buddhism also we believe two types of Nirvana then, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. In Jainism also they believed. Did they believe? Yes. What are those two types of Kaivalya? Sayogi and Ayogi. Here also we will find the two terminology. We will find it out from the note. We have these two. Isn't it? They won't use these terms Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. They use another term, Pali term for that. Isn't it? This Nirvana is literally, it means blowing out. It means blowing out. It has been compared with the extinction or extinguishing of a flame. Just as a flame is extinguished, flame hai, candle hai, right? Flame is there. This flame is extinguished. Now please tell me, where this flame has gone? कहाँ गई? बताएं. Flame. I am asking of flame. No. Just give me layman answer. I expect you from layman answer only. अरे भाई लैंप चल रहा है. लैंप, लालटेन क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Yes, lamp is there. Wick is there. Right? And oil is there. Oil is there, wick is there, flame is there. जल रही, पूरी रात भर से जल रही है. Done. Now this flame is extinguished on the account of consumption of all oil. Oil ही खत्म. तो क्या होगा फिर? ऑयल जब खत्म होगा तो इस फ्लेम का क्या होगा? बुझ जाएगी. और बुझने का हमने एक वर्ड यूज करा एक्सटिंग्विश। अब आप मुझे ये बताएं, प्लीज टेल मी वेयर दिस फ्लेम हैज गॉन, वेयर इट हैज गॉन। थी ना पहले, अब तो नहीं है। वेयर इट हैज गॉन, लेमैन, जस्ट गिव मी कॉमन एग्जांपल। कहाँ गई? कौन गई? देखो हम ऊपर ही देखते हैं, लेकिन ऊपर ही ले जाएगी अभी। मैं कह रहा हूँ लेमैन को पता था कॉजल एफिशिएंसी क्या होती है? किसी को पता है? हाँ? हाँ, अब है ना, बिल्कुल सही है, फ्यूल खत्म हो गया था, बिल्कुल ठीक है, वो तो मैं कह चुका हूँ। दिस फ्लेम इज एक्सटिंग्विश्ड ऑन द अकाउंट ऑफ कंजम्पशन ऑफ ऑयल। माय क्वेश्चन इज वेयर दिस फ्लेम, अभी मैं देख रहा था उसको फ्लेम को, हाँ, और ये कम होती गॉन। तो क्वेश्चन इज वेयर दिस फ्लेम हैज गॉन, हैज इट गॉन अपवर्ड्स, डाउनवर्ड्स, लेफ्ट, राइट, हियर? अरे मेरे जवाब नहीं देते बीच में। किसने कहा इल्यूजन था? तो हाथ रखो इसमें। रखोगे? फिर क्यों इल्यूजन बोल रहे हो? मैं बोलूं? This flame is extinguished. Where this flame has gone? Has it gone upwards? Has it gone downwards? Has it gone left, right? Has it gone here, there? No. Then where? Then it has extinguished. का मतलब ही है extinguished. It is blown out. कहाँ गई नहीं पता है. It is consumed. Try to understand. It is consumed. In the same way, this flame, which is litting on the account of the consumption of desire, craving, thirst, it will blown out. It will be extinguished. And now you ask, where this flame has gone? Where this person has gone? Has it gone upwards? Down? अरे भाई ये तो consume हो गया on the account of consumption of desire. मेरी desire से खत्म हो गए and this flame is extinguished. Nirvana is like that. And now if somebody asks, does this person has become Bodhi? What Buddha will say? Silent. Silent. Has it gone into Siddhishila? Buddha will be silent because क्या सिद्धिशिला होगा तो देखा है सिद्धिशिला कहाँ है? नहीं, कुछ नहीं. This is how he explains Nirvana. Again I repeat, Nirvana means blown out. नहीं समझ में आया? No problem. Buddha has lot of examples. He gives examples of that flame. Flame is extinguished. It is blown out. बुझ गई, खत्म हो गई. The flame has gone, and on account of the consumption of that oil, मेरी ये flame को कौन चला रहा है? मेरी desire, मेरे passion, मेरी ignorance, मेरे action. जब वो खत्म हो गए, तो this will be extinguished. This is how the best way to understand Nirvana. Buddha have never explained what happens after Nirvana. Other schools have. We recently, in last school, Jainas have explained that this liberated soul will transcend the sansar and straight go to Siddhishila. Others will be explaining something like that. But Buddha is trying to avoid all kinds of speculation. क्या होगा? ये जाके देख लेना है, वो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा मेरे से सुनने के बजाय. You attain that nirvana, you yourself will know that what happens, into that. And this is where nirvana means no suffering. A person will be in utter peace, and there won't be any further, no further birth. There is no further birth. The new birth is not there. Cessation of suffering, and I will be in utter peace. Buddha is trying to explain only through these metaphors, through this example. Later on, after many years, centuries, one Buddhist scholar had happened named Nagarjuna. Have you heard his name? Yes. He has tried to explain Nirvana through some metaphorical terms. He has used certain metaphors because he could not explain, क्योंकि ये चीजें आप explain नहीं कर सकते, because they are beyond our finite speech, thought, language. That is a matter of only realization. You can only feel, you can't describe. इसको और अच्छे से देखेंगे किसी स्कूल में, nothing will be left out uncleared. You will be understanding. This is our journey. धीरे धीरे चीजें समझ में आएंगी. As these concepts come, I can only explain that. Fine. So he says that Nirvana is like as sweet as honey, as profound as ocean, as lofty as mountain. Only through these metaphors we can have some kind of idea that what is Nirvana. So what is Nirvana? Nirvana is in which noble truth? Third noble truth. Nirvana is explained by Pratyatya Samatpada. Nirvana is blowing out. Nirvana has been compared with the extinguishing of flame. We have double gain, no more birth, utter peace. Later on, Nagarjuna had explained through metaphors. And Nirvana is of how many types? 2 types. ये 8 पॉइंट होने चाहिए आपके आंसर में निर्वाण में, isn't it? हमको तो आंसर से मतलब है. These 8 points should have been there. As we move on, naturally you will develop a comparative study. Even right now you can say that in Jaina, Kevalya, they talk of Ananta Chatushtay. However, Buddha does not talk. This is a comparative study होगी, और क्या comparative study करो? Isn't it? This is how Nirvana means.
So is Buddha consistent? Is his philosophy consistent?
Where is your issue? You tell me that.
So he says that this is all change theory. He explains phenomenal world with that. He remains silent on Bodhi, which is further elaborated by Nagarjuna.
No, did he elaborate Bodhi?
I mean, no, I don't know. You just said that.
No, he said about Nirvana through metaphors.
Okay, so he...
Metaphors you understand? Metaphors have been used by poet. Isn't it? Metaphors होता है, हिंदी में बोलते हैं अलंकार. हाँ? Poet कैसे define करेगा आपको? आपको जब मैंने देखा आपका मुख सूर्य के समान चमक रहा है, तो मेरा मुख सूर्य थोड़ी बन गया. लेकिन वो एक टर्मिनोलॉजी यूज करता है, उससे हम एक व्यू बनाते हैं, मतलब बड़ा इसके चेहरे पे तेज है. Isn't it? और मतलब बहुत सारे अलंकार.
So which philosophy means? Is there an ultimate reality or there are 2 realities? That's my question.
Who, according to?
According to Buddha.
You tell me now. You are in position to answer this question. According to Buddha, how many realities?
Only one.
Yeah, आपने raise करा जवाब दो. You can get. Either right or wrong, but at least you can give answer.
So,
अरे जवाब नहीं दिया.
According to me, there should be 2, no? Because there is something which is entirely different from the ultimate.
Something is भी लगा रहे हो और 2 भी बोल रहे हो. ये तो contradiction. 2 ultimate realities कैसे हो जाएंगी? एक phenomenal world हो गया. This world is changing. It logically implies that there is something which is not changing. That is Bodhi. Where is the issue? No issue at all. Your question might be something different. You again think and keep us following, and whatever problem is there, you write somewhere. Either it will be sorted out or we will sort it out later. No problem. This is what Buddha is. I hope it is clear. As far as write-up is there, we have already taken synopsis. Now, or you write some synopsis on Nirvana also. Right, in Buddhist philosophy, Nirvana is the state of complete cessation of all earthly miseries and suffering. It is not extinction of existence. It is not extinction of existence. Rather, extinction of miseries. It is given in Third Noble Truth. It is given in Third Noble Truth. That is, there is cessation of suffering. Next point. Nirvana is attainable here in this very life. Nirvana is attainable in this very life. Next point. Nirvana is not inactivity. Nirvana does not mean inactivity. Next point. The very word nirvana means, the very word nirvana means blowing out. It is the dissolution of 5 skandhas. It is the dissolution of 5 skandhas. It is often compared with the extinguishing of the flame of the lamp. Next point. With nirvana there is double gain. With nirvana there is double gain. That is, no rebirth, and perfect peace. There are 2 types of nirvana. One is Sopadishesh and Anupadishesh. Sopadishesh and Anupadishesh. Right? This is what we have, 4 noble truths, and correspondingly, logically, some of the doctrines. Now, whatever Buddha have said, opponents will criticize. Okay? Now we will come to the criticism. How they are criticized, on what ground? Yeah. First is Jivan Mukti, second is within.
Sir,
Yeah.
Nirvana is the end of suffering.
Yeah.
But Buddha continued to live in this world for
This is how Jivan Mukti, right? Whatever the fruits which have been accumulated of the past, he is suffering because of that. When he gets freedom, when those fruits are exhausted, then he will leave this body also. Right? So bodily, you can say, bodily suffering he is having, but not that, that ultimate suffering is not there. Because he is in the perfect peace, because he has the right knowledge. Now critics says,
So please explain relation between Bodhi, enlightenment and Nirvana.
okay, you say something.
So knowledge of Bodhi is enlightenment. Bodhi is a pure conscious substance
Yeah.
or the ultimate reality.
Bodhi is knowledge itself.
Knowledge itself is
You can say that. It's a pure consciousness. The pure consciousness, knowledge. Isn't it? In the Nirvana, you have Bodhi. Bodhi means enlightenment. Nirvana is a state. Bodhi is a reality, or you can say knowledge. Done. अब इसका criticism करते, right? Let us see what comes out. Critics, opponent says, basically this more criticism is more of Kshanikvad and indirectly Pratyata Samutpada. Critics says that you people say that antecedent movement is the cause of consequent movement. Precedent movement is the cause of subsequent movement. Right? This is how you say. Critics say, but this movement exists for a movement alone. It came and it went away. When did it cause next movement? Movement, a thing exists for a moment alone. It came and it went away. इसने cause कब कर दिया? If you say, it's a continuation. If you say that first this movement is fully developed, what they say, they presume कि अब तुम क्या बोलोगे? अगर तुम कहते हो, if you say that first this movement is fully developed, then it causes next movement and then it goes away. But at that particular time there will be two movements. But you say that a thing exists for a movement alone. So it goes against your theory of Kshanikvad. Are you understanding? पहले इन्होंने कहा, they say antecedent movement cannot be the cause of subsequent movement. Why? Because it exists for a movement alone. ये तो आया और चला गया. Cause कब कर दिया यार? Cause करने के लिए इसको रहना होगा. And now if you say कि first of all this movement is fully developed and then it causes next movement and then it goes away. At that particular time you have two movements, but you say that a thing exists for a movement alone. Hence it goes against Kshanikvad. If you say that this movement has come without antecedent movement, but then it goes against Pratyata Samutpada, because you only said that every effect must have cause. If you say that this movement lasts as long as this second movement comes, if you say that this movement lasts as long as or as the second movement comes, in that way actually you are saying that these two movements are simultaneous, but they can't be simultaneous because cause and effect are antecedent and consequent. They can't be simultaneous. Fire and heat thus can't be simultaneous. पहले fire को आना ही होगा. Then only you can have heat. Cause and effect का तो मतलब भी वो होता है. Getting my point? Antecedent and consequent. Antecedent, subsequent. तो दोनों अगर simultaneous हैं, so then again it goes against your Pratyata Samutpada, because cause and effect just can't be simultaneous. Logical arguments है, very powerful logical argument given by very logical person. Right? And in Indian philosophy, who is the most logical person? Nobody can win him in logic and argument. He can prove this night as a day. Because logical bada strong. Right? His intellect is very sharp. We will see when we will discuss him. Isn't it? So, these are some of the criticisms they are developing. I hope you are getting. ये सारे criticism एक ही thread में हैं. ठीक है? I'll explain many times. Antecedent movement cannot be the cause of the next movement. क्योंकि ए थिंग एग्जिस्ट फॉर ए मूवमेंट. ये आया चला गया. कॉज कब करा? कॉज करने के लिए इसको रहना होगा ना. इट मीन्स यू वांट टू से that this movement is first exists, fully develops, it causes next movement and then it goes away. But at a particular time there will be, जब ये cause कर रहा होगा तो there will be two movements. But you said the thing exists for a movement alone. Again it goes against the Kshanikvad. If you say consequent movement have arisen without antecedent, that means you want to say that effect have arisen without against Prasiddha Samuspad. If you say antecedent, two movements, cause and effect come simultaneously, that is against logic, because cause and effect are consequent successive movement. पहले एक आएगा फिर दूसरा आएगा, ये होना ही होना है. तभी तो cause and effect कहलाते हैं. जब मैं स्विच ऑन करूंगा तभी तो पंखा चलेगा. ऐसे कैसे चल जाएगा? दोनों एक साथ चलेंगे? ऐसे कैसे हो सकते हैं? Right. Further, these opponents are here. By the way, can you please tell us what do you mean by production and destruction? What do you mean by production and destruction? क्या है ये? Opponent says that you have three alternatives. You can define what are these production and destruction in three ways. First, you can say that they are nature of a thing only. Right? Production and destruction of example, for example, of this pen. Getting? No? This pen is produced? Produced or not? And it will be destroyed. तो भाई production क्या है और destruction क्या है? Isn't it? या तो आप बोलेंगे कि प्रोडक्शन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन इस पेन के ही नेचर है, राइट? सेकेंड इज, और यू विल बी सेइंग दैट दे आर डिफरेंट स्टेजेस. इसी चीज के अलग अलग स्टेजेस हैं. और थर्ड आप बोलेंगे, टेंशन में नहीं आए, समझ में आ जाएगा, नेचर, स्टेजेस, और तीसरा है कि दे आर एंटायरली डिफरेंट. ऐसी कोई चीज है ही नहीं जो कि ना समझे. Isn't it? या प्रोडक्शन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन आर एंटायरली डिफरेंट. अब एक एक करके ले लेते हैं क्या मतलब निकल रहा है इसको. ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू टेल मी, कैन यू प्लीज टेल मी द बेसिक नेचर ऑफ दिस पेन. व्हाट आर द बेसिक नेचर, मतलब व्हाट आर द एसेंशियल, most basic, most essential qualities of this pen, without which pen is not pen. Yeah, first is writing, second is ink, और भी बहुत सारी होंगी. Let us take these two. तो ये भी है, लेकिन पेन स्पेसिफिक क्या होगा? राइटिंग एंड इंक. These are the two basic characteristics of pen. Or you can say कि sir these are the two aspects of pen only. Done. Writing is not ink. Writing and ink are different, isn't it? Now, but they are basic qualities of pen. Done. Now, if I say writing, what it connotes? What it refers? If I say writing, it is referring what? Pen. Writing मतलब instrument which writes, that is पेन. पेन के अलावा कुछ बोल सकते हो? If I say ink, then it refers pen. So though writing and pen are not synonyms, but their connotation is same. It means their meaning is overlapping. In that means either I say writing, or I say ink, or I say pen. All the three terms are referring to only one thing only. In that way they become more or less synonyms, because writing and pen both are referring to only one entity. I don't have to say pen or ink. I'll just say instrument which writes. Pen, isn't it? Or an instrument which is ink. किसको रेफर कर रहा है? पेन. Don't think और नहीं है, सोचे नहीं और किस किस में डाल सकता हूँ उससे फायदा नहीं होगा, नुकसान ही होगा, क्योंकि लॉजिकली तो इंक तो पेन में ही डलती है। हाँ? मोर पंख तो मोर पंख में तो यार पेन किस तरह काम कर रहा है, तो सोचना बेकार है, उसमें नहीं जाना है कि देखो ढूंढ के लाता हूँ पकड़ते हैं, कुछ फायदा नहीं। इन दैट वे, if production and destruction are nature of a thing, production and destruction of a thing, ये thing हो गया. If production and destruction are the nature of a thing, that means production and destruction becomes more or less same or more or less synonym. Just as writing and ink had become more or less synonym. But are they synonyms? Hence this alternative is not acceptable. Done. Let us come to the stages. Stages मतलब ये कि भैया ये पेन है, इसकी इनिशियल स्टेज ये हो गई और लेटर स्टेज क्या हो गई? डिस्ट्रक्शन. So this is pen. So pen is first produced and then pen is destroyed. That means this pen is related to earlier movement and this pen is related to later movement. It means this pen exists for more than one movement. Hence it goes against. Is that point?
But the any movement is origin and destruction, no. How is
Every movement origin destruction means then you are saying simultaneous, which is not possible. दोनों एक साथ तो नहीं हो सकते. ओरिजिन होगा और फिर ही डिस्ट्रॉय होगा. ओरिजिन किसका हुआ? पेन का. और डिस्ट्रक्शन किसका हुआ? पेन का. इसका मतलब पेन इज रिलेटेड टू अर्लियर मूवमेंट एंड पेन इज रिलेटेड टू नेक्स्ट मूवमेंट. इट मीन्स पेन एग्जिस्ट फॉर एंड यू सेड कि क्षणिकवाद इट एग्जिस्ट फॉर ए मूवमेंट अलोन. एक बार अभी पहले सुन लेते हैं, है ना? पहले देखे तो सही वो ये क्या कह रहा है. लेट अस फर्स्ट सी. हो सकता है हमको समझ में आ जाए.
But when the pen is subject to destruction, you have exhausted the utility of the pen. So it does not mean you will destroy it. You might not keep it for the writing purpose.
No. इतना assumptions की कोई बात नहीं है. I'm just simply asking what are production and destruction. Question is this. A thing is produced and a thing is destroyed. तो हमारा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है कि भाई बर्थ और डेथ या प्रोडक्शन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट? प्रोडक्शन ऑफ दिस पेन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ दिस पेन. सो हाउ प्रोडक्शन एंड डिस्ट्रक्शन आर रिलेटेड टू दिस पेन? सिंपल क्वेश्चन ये है. फर्स्ट ऑल्टरनेटिव में आपने कहा कि भैया ये पेन के नेचर ही है. दे आर द डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ दिस पेन ओनली. उसी क्वालिटीज है. If you say qualities of pen only, that means production and destruction becomes more or less synonym. वो हमने इंक और राइटिंग के एग्जांपल को लेके समझा. Done. अगर आप कहते हैं कि they are different stages, early stage, mature stage, and later stage, end stage, that means this entity is related to this and this is related to that. That means it exists for more than one movement. But then it goes against क्षणिकवाद. अगर आप कहते हैं कि this entity, production and destruction are entirely different, just as horse is entirely different from buffalo. Different है ना? कि production and destruction are entirely different, just as horse is entirely different from buffalo. In that case, this pen is neither related to production nor it is related to destruction. That means जिसका ना प्रोडक्शन हुआ ना डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ वो क्या हो गया? Eternal. But you believe in क्षणिकवाद, momentariness, impermanence, अनित्यवाद. Getting my point? Hence, Mr. Buddha, don't give us false doctrine. Your Kshanikvad does not hold true. And this is your Kshanikvad and Pratyabdha Samutpada, ki dhajja ud gayi. Isn't it? Moreover, what did you say? Everything is momentary. If everything is momentary, then you said soul is also momentary. If everything is momentary, soul is momentary, so then whose bondage and whose liberation? Somebody had raised this question initially. Whose bondage and whose liberation? कौन है bondage में और किसको मिल रहा है liberation में? Because you are saying that a thing exists only for a moment alone. So your so-called soul exists for a moment alone. वो तो आया और चला गया. तो कौन है bondage में और कौन है liberation? Moreover, even if you believe, you find soul is in the bondage, but your concept is leading, it is going against moral law. It is going against moral law. Matlab, this movement is aspiring for liberation. Who is trying for liberation? You exist, me exist for a moment alone. Now who is preparing for civil? You. And who will become? Next movement. It is against moral law. मेहनत आप करो और फल उसको मिले. करिए क्या मजाक है? I am aspiring for liberation. I did Ashtangik Marg. And who will get liberation? Next movement, Virabadi. So it is against moral law. Are you getting? Because soul exists for a moment now. तो पहला आया हमारा आर्ग्यूमेंट कि सोल इज मोमेंटरी. देन किसका बॉन्डेज की बात कर रहे हो यार? बॉन्डेज में होने के लिए, लिबरेशन चाहने के लिए किसी का होना जरूरी है ना. तो यहाँ से थिंग एग्जिस्ट फॉर ए मोमेंट ओनली. एवरीथिंग इज इम्परमानेंट. किसकी बात कर रहे हो? और अगर है तो देन इट गोज अगेंस्ट मॉरल लॉ. इट गोज अगेंस्ट मॉरल लॉ. व्हाट? कर्म मैं करूं, फल अगला वाला भुगतेगा. अच्छा या बुरा? बिकॉज आई एग्जिस्ट फॉर ए moment alone. And moreover, if there is no permanent entity in me, then Mr. Buddha, how you will explain memory part? Because I exist for a moment alone. Then how I am able to recall that it is me who earlier 10 years before that person was only me? I won't be able to recall, remember, even myself in the absence of some permanent entity, permanent soul. Other schools have said that there is permanent entity in us, that is soul. वो बैठा हुआ है. ये 20 साल पहले भी था, अभी भी है, और जब तक हूँ तब तक रहेगा. तो मेरी जितनी भी मेमोरीज हैं, all my memories, it is this which is storing. क्योंकि this was earlier even 30 years before. Till this point, continuously it is existing. So it has synthesized all those parts. So whenever is required memory element, it gives me, look, 10 years before ये हुआ था. But once I am continuously changing, then who is that entity who is storing all those information? So, in the absence of permanent soul, you just can't explain memory. Is that fine? These are the criticism leveled against Buddhist doctrine of Pratyabdha Samutpada, Kshanikvad and Nirasavad. सुनो, रिफ्लेक्ट करो, कोशिश करो, उतरने का थोड़ा सा टाइम दो, फिर अगर इशू है तो आने. Isn't it? Moment I tell, immediately you ask question, I mean, थोड़ा सा मैं I become uncomfortable. यार सुनने उतरने तो दे यार. Isn't it? थोड़ा सा जाने दो ना उसको, think होने दो. If you think logically, you will understand. Isn't it? And most of the time, whatever you ask, basically you have understood. You want to reconfirm that. 99% questions वही होते हैं. Isn't it? Anyway, these are the criticism, of course, leveled by Shankaracharya, right, against the Buddhist doctrine. Of course, अगर ये सारे criticism सही हैं, so then why Buddha is considered as Buddha? Isn't it? All this criticism will become valid if and only if you consider these movements as confined within time frame. अगर आपने इस मूवमेंट को टाइम फ्रेम में मान लिया, तो all these criticisms are valid. But this movement is not in time frame. ना एक सेकंड में, neither 1 billionth part of second. Because in 1 billionth part of second also has infinite movements. What Buddha is trying to say, what Buddha is trying to emphasize, we need to understand that. And if we understand, then I think this criticism does not hold. Is that fine? This is criticism. Now, if question comes on Kshanikvad, you can take out whichever is applicable criticism. If question comes on Nirasavad, you can take out some 2-3 criticism from here. So, this will give you critical comment. This debate is never ending between Buddhists and Vedantists and Shankarites. They will be countered, then that will be further countered. But our intention is not to do research work. We will stop here because the standard books refer till here only. Beyond this, that becomes beyond our scope. We will not get it. Okay, debate तो आज भी है, and it will be continued there. Anybody who accepts कि हाँ भाई तू सही बोल रहा है, so that school is finished. No, then pack up your luggage and baggage कि चल भाई तू तो कर जा. ऐसा है नहीं. And both are, as far as Buddhism is concerned and as far as Vedanta and Shankaracharya is concerned, both are solid people. It's just point of orientation and difference. हमको खुशी इस बात की कि हमको कुछ 6-7 पॉइंट्स मिल गए क्रिटिसिज्म, राइट. अगर वो कहता है कि भाई क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन कर दो, तो फिर अब हम वी आर फील सिक्योर्ड कि हाँ भाई कर दूंगा. जहाँ क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं आ रहा है वहाँ क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन. अगर आ जाता है तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि क्रिटिकली एग्जामिन व्हेनेवर written in the question, it does not necessarily mean that you have to criticize. That means critical survey. Means if you make a comparative study, you compare this person with another person, that is also known as critical survey. तो जिसका criticism है ही नहीं, standard books में ही नहीं, फिर उसका फिर हम कहाँ चलाएंगे? Isn't it? So there are many things. For example, निर्वाण को criticize कर दो. वैसे करने को criticize भी कर दो, लेकिन exactly there is no as such criticism. I hope it is fine. I'll give you synopsis. Yeah. Obviously not, though we have not found this in in the standard text.
But this is the essence of his teaching. Otherwise, there is no significance in that. So, how
No. What you have understood by time frame?
just like one moment. For example, this entire life, this one birth can also be considered as one moment.
Absolutely. You will find this, whatever you have said somewhere.
So, it's easy to interpret. I mean, it's not.
But this moment is not 1 second, no.
Yes, that's right. So, what is the critical analysis? I mean, this entire life can be one moment.
Fine. No, किसकी साइड हो आप? क्रिटिक या बुद्धा की साइड में? हाँ, फिर तो then no problem. Then no issues. तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. You are supporting Buddha. This is what we have supported. What? Buddha and Shankaracharya. Buddha happened in 6th century BC. Shankaracharya happened in 6th century, 5th century AD. In this, many scholars had occurred. Isn't it? Some of the scholars might have misinterpreted Buddha. So that has to be criticized too. So somewhere Shankaracharya and Vedantis are utilizing that opportunity. As such, Buddha में कोई issue नहीं है.
So basically, sir, in a moment, in a second, there can be infinite moments.
Moment is a metaphysical.
And in a moment, there can be infinite lives also.
Right, the movement is zero time space, or we cannot define what is the length of movement. The movement can contain many lines also.
Yes, you can, we can. Okay.
So in the first two cases, he's bifurcating movements. In the first two criticisms, that if a movement exists for some time, then it is existing. But then he's bifurcating the movements. Why so like this?
Because he is trying to understand that how this movement is causing next movement. He wants to understand that. Right? And now he is saying that antecedent movement is just can't be the cause of the next movement. Right? And then he anticipated, okay, now you will say, okay, first this movement is fully developed, then it causes. So he is negating that also by anticipating your argument, and he himself gives counter argument. Right? In that.
And the fourth point says that about the twin movements. So about the twin, that they can't exist both simultaneously, that each has to give another product.
Antecedent consequent has to be there. Okay? Okay. I think critical comment you can just go through from the printed material, because these are in point form also. I will end up writing the entire text down. Right? So you just give heading critical comments and write in the bracket, refer to the notes. Whatever I have said, you will find there everything. Now, let us come. Give a small heading. Buddha avoids systematic metaphysics. Buddha avoids systematic metaphysics. Now write in this. Early Buddhism avoided speculative thought. Rather, it was based on empirical evidences. Rather, it was based on empirical evidences gained by the sense organs. However, senses. However, Buddhist scholars have addressed many metaphysical issues. Write in bracket, they only avoided speculation. Next point. Buddha discouraged his followers from indulging in speculation. Discouraged his followers from indulging in speculation because it is fruitless and it distracts from true awakening. Next point. He is silent because first point, he emphasizes on awakening. Second, he says that both affirmative and negative positions regarding these questions are based on attachment, or misunderstanding of the aggregates. Misunderstanding of the aggregates. Have you understood this? Panchaskandha. Our understanding is wrong about Panchaskandha. How we consider myself, I consider myself, my soul as permanent. So whatever questions are based, that is based on that belief, no. So all my questions are based on that. But Buddha says that first that presumption is wrong. You first clear that. So there is no point in answering those questions. I am asking questions out of clingingness. I am attached. So my affirmative or what you have written, negative position. That is either I say yes or no. Both are based on my wrong assumption, my wrong understanding. Hence Buddha avoids that and tries to focus on the removal of ignorance, so that these questions won't be asked. Third, reality is beyond sensory conception. Reality is beyond sensory conception. That is, it cannot be described in language. Next point, new point. However, Buddha's silence does not indicate missiology. Missiology, that is distaste. Missiology for philosophy. Such terminologies I have included in the notes. They have taken from authoritative texts here and there. I have used this and I have experimented this through test series also. Such question can be asked because nature of questions is fast changing. Right? They are trying to, catch you by not asking absurd questions, by asking very relevant and very conceptual questions. Sometimes they give terminology. If we understand the meaning of that terminology, we can very well answer. Many times it had happened. And these terminologies, it is not like that they are framing. They are present here and there. Right? So I have included and I have experimented through test series whenever this question is there. I think very few candidates are able to answer this. What you have written, that his silence does not indicate missiology or distaste or disdain for the philosophy. His silence is only avoiding speculation, yet he addresses many metaphysical issues. ये सारे metaphysical issues हैं. He solves the problem of rebirth. He explains nirvana, removal of suffering, अष्टांगिक मार्ग, सारा सब कुछ बता तो रहा है. लेकिन कहीं पे भी at any point of time he never speculates. Right? So he is not having this taste of philosophy. He is philosophizing, but he is only avoiding speculation. He has missiology of speculation, not the proper metaphysical issue. Right? Rather, he addresses many metaphysical issues. Rather, he addresses many metaphysical issues with his teaching of Prachitta Samutpat, Nirasmavad, rebirth, cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, nirvana, etc. Right, so this finally we complete our Buddhism. Now, the syllabus as given by UPSC, there is some misprint, right? Syllabus mentions the schools of Buddhism and dash, then it is written Pratyata Samutpad, Kshanikvad and Niratmavad. Right? There is a slight misprint. It is not dash. It is this. So whatever we have discussed, we have not discussed the schools of Buddhism. We have discussed basic doctrine of Buddhism. Pratyata Samutpad, Kshanikvad and Niratmavad. The schools of Buddhism are yet to come. Right? What are these schools? I'll just give you background and I'll say when I would be doing those schools. Now look, when in 6th century Buddha had come, moment Buddha had come, he was instant hit. Right? Instant he had followers. There was instant liking of Buddha because of his basic philosophy, because of his middle path, because of his open-mindedness, no caste regulations, because of the free hand to merchants, traders. Isn't it? In Brahminical faith, in Vedic religion, what was the point? That you can't cross sea. If you cross sea, then you will be outcast. And to be outcast, it's a hell lot. And to come back into caste, you will make some rituals and you will make some priest millionaire, billionaire. Because a lot of rituals have to be performed. So there were restrictions. Now 6th century BC, there are a lot of development. Earlier also I told you that 6th century BC is the formative years of Indian system. The state formation, agriculture development, merchants, guild system, we have the currency, isn't it? Agriculture development, so many developments were going on. In this scenario, if you put so much of do's and don'ts, society will react. And that reaction was manifested in the form of Buddhism and Jainism. And hence they quoted all these things. And hence these two have great followers. Merchants, traders instantly became their followers. Isn't it? Then later on, within the Buddha's lifetime, even women was admitted. ठीक है ना? तो कुछ बेसिक चीजें ऐसी थी बुद्धिज्म में that had attracted people. And very shortly he started having huge following. And this is where Buddhism started progressing, leaps and bounds, geometrical progression, something like that. On the other hand, Vedic religion was still struggling with rituals and sacrifices. But this was not in need of the hour. अब तक sacrifices rituals करते रहोगे क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चर कैटल चाहिए, ट्रेडर्स हैं, मर्चेंट है, उनको बाहर जाना है, ट्रेड करना है, पैसा कमा, समथिंग लाता है. So it had become something like kind of decadent and stagnant. On the other hand, Buddhism especially leaps and bounds. A time had come when Buddha had a huge following and he was taken as authoritative. Huge following means, ultimate, उस जमाने के बाबा जी type. Isn't it? People had immense faith in Buddha, in Buddha's teaching, blind followers. But Buddha was against sacrifices, rituals, speculation, and will he accept God? No. Though he had not rejected also, he was silent. That way, he was not interested in talking about God and all that. So, rise of Buddhism was basically a reaction to the prevailing socio-economic political conditions. In this scenario, in Buddhism, there should not be what? Sacrifices, rituals, and worshipping, prayers. ये तो जगह नहीं है ना, क्योंकि भाई बुद्धिज्म का तो जन्म ही इस बात से हुआ है ना. But on the parallel side, we have Buddhism is followers, is gaining popularity, immense. Right? So in India, there is one issue that जिसके हम followers हैं, blind followers हो रहे हैं, और until and unless I worship somebody, किसी के चरण पकड़ के पूजा नहीं करी, तो फील नहीं आता, मजा नहीं आता. अब बुद्धा के मैं इतना हार्डकोर फॉलोवर हूँ और बुद्धा करेंगे रिचुअल, सैक्रिफाइसेस, वर्शिपिंग, कोई भगवान कुछ नहीं, सब अपने अपने प्रैक्टिकल प्रॉब्लम्स में सॉल्व करो, समथिंग लाता. बट बल्क ऑफ द मासेस वर कॉमन मैन एंड कॉमन पीपल आर इमोशनल एंड दे लव टू वर्शिप, और ये करने नहीं दे रहा. ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. कुछ बीच में ट्राई करा तो भाई बुद्धा के लाइफ टाइम में तो ऑफ कोर्स यू कांट अफोर्ड टू डू दैट. So that religious, I'm saying religious, but Buddhism did not found any religious. It's just ethical teacher. लेकिन अब क्या निकल रहा है मुझसे? Religious, God, something like that. Buddha has been personified that way. But Buddha is not allowing me to worship. Is that समस्या? When Buddha had become around at the age of 75, then there was some ray of hope. Isn't it? रे होगा 75 साल को, कितने साल है? Isn't it? So hence, अगरबत्ती and garland, माला, और मैं बैठा हूँ. जहाँ आ जाए बुद्धा जी बिल्कुल सही करो, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही करेंगे तो सांघिक मार्ग होता है, इसमें क्या बात करेंगे. I'm waiting. बुद्धा 77, 78, 80. यार क्या से करें, मतलब फ्रूट खत्म ही नहीं होता. Around 80, 82 years something, Buddha महापरिनिर्वाण, विदेह मुक्ति. Moment Buddha died, लगा यार प्रभु जी, हे ईश्वर, आप ही तो होता रहे. बुद्धिज्म जिसलिए बना वही गड़बड़. I was waiting since long time. अब मैंने पूजा कर ली तो बड़ी शांति से मिल गई, यार अब सही है. Obviously, other people who were hardcore followers of Buddha, उन्होंने कहा ये क्या है, हटा इसको, बुद्धा ने तो कहा ही नहीं था ये, पूरा माला वाला फेंक दी, अगरबत्ती अगरबत्ती फेंक, हो गई अब लड़ाई, डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन। उसने कहा यार बुद्धा ने कहना चाह रहे थे, वो थोड़ी कहेंगे पूजा करोगे, उन्होंने कहा कि कहा था दे वो सोने वो रहते थे ये है वो है, और मैं इतनी महान आत्मा टाइप से थे, पुण्य आत्मा टाइप, यार वर्शिपिंग एंड ये तो होना ही चाहिए। उन्होंने कहा यार भाई समझ नहीं रहा, रिचुअल सैक्रिफाइस बुद्धा थ्रू आउट हिज लाइफ हैड डिनाइड, व्हाई डोंट यू अंडरस्टैंड, एंड हेंस देयर इज डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन एंड पीपल स्टार्टेड फाइटिंग। हेंस किंग अजातशत्रु कन्वीन्ड फर्स्ट बुद्धिस्ट काउंसिल। उन्होंने कहा आ जाओ सारे के सारे, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, he settled down some issues. लेकिन something had started because this is the inherent nature of man, no? Isn't it? There is something in man by which he creates God and start worshipping. There is something. You will see in paper 2. ठीक है? So first Buddhist council to settle differences. He had second council also. अलग अलग ग्रुप्स बनते जा रहे हैं. Broad basic issue is this. Ashoka had also convened. Third Buddhist council, you might have read in Indian history. He expelled newcomers, supported orthodox, traditional. Newcomers जो हैं, जो कि worship और वगैरह ये करना चाह रहे हैं, उनको भगाए कि भाग लो. Done. तो अब जो बेसिक इशू था वो तो पकड़ चुका ना, वो तो मोमेंट बनेगा, कुछ कर नहीं सकते आप, यू कांट हेल्प इट आउट, क्योंकि इतनी जनता है तो आप कहाँ किस किस को रोक लोगे. एंड हेंस दिस इज वेयर वी हैव इन बुद्धिज्म व्हाट स्प्लिट हुआ. एट ए टाइम देयर वर 62 सेक्ट्स विद इन बुद्धिज्म. अब क्या हुआ भाई, बुद्धिज्म हैड हैपेंड इन ईस्टर्न इंडिया, दूर 500-700 किलोमीटर अवे. वो पता नहीं उसने क्या सुना, क्या समझा, क्या इंटरप्रेट करा, उसने एक अलग ही कुछ चीज सिस्टम शुरू कर दी. अलग अलग होगा ना, ऐसे तो सेक्ट्स बनते हैं डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द स्पेस एंड टाइम एंड माय माइंडसेट. सो एट टाइम देयर वर 62 सेक्ट्स, बट ब्रॉडली वी हैव नाउ डिफरेंट schools within Buddhism. Within Buddhism we have different schools, and hence we have now these schools. Broadly there were 2 schools. These were, the most popular is Mahayana and other is Kenya. Broad 2 schools emerged in Buddhism, Mahayana and Hina. Mahayana is the newcomers. Mahayana were the worshippers, rituals, sacrifice. Buddha was personified. Idols. Idols देखते हैं ना बुद्धा के, वो सारे Mahayana. Hina, they will worship only symbols of Buddha, like lotus, horse, something like that. But they will be, Mahayana will be personifying idol worship and all that new things and rituals and sacrifices gradually crept into the Mahayana. And many new things had come in Mahayana, because Buddhism was at its climax. आसपास कोई रिलीजन नहीं, Vedic religion, Brahminical religion, one is still struggling. Rituals and sacrifices. Right? And these people were much ahead. Some newer concepts they had come. Isn't it? Newer concepts had come. Like, there is one concept of Bodhisattva. Right? There is concept of now Bodhisattva. Who is this Bodhisattva? Bodhisattva were like suffering saviors. Suffering saviors means, it is like these Bodhisattvas are like liberated beings. Liberated beings, but they will not leave this world. they will help us. They will help others to, they will guide others to have liberation. And they will be in this world as long as the last of the last creature gets nirvana. They are here and suffering for us. Are you getting? Means individual salvation. Earlier क्या था individual salvation? भाई मुझे salvation मिला, मुझे निर्वाण मिला, मुझे कैवल्य मिला. I got it, and then I said, okay fine यार, मैं तो चला, okay bye bye, best of luck. Gone. तुम अपना अपना काम करो यार, मैं क्या करूँ? Right? But Bodhisattva concept was, no, how can I leave my fellow beings? I will stay here and I will guide you. And hence I will be suffering. Suffering means to live in this world is suffering. I will suffer for you. And hence he is known as suffering savior. Bodhisattva पे short note कभी नहीं आया. I think long back there was short note, but now it is very much expected. A one-page write-up is there in the notes. Go through that. This is Bodhisattva. This concept stands for cosmic salvation. Cosmic salvation means everybody has to have salvation. Is that fine? Further, we have found new things. New things आते जा रहे हैं. New things मतलब there is a concept of merit transference है. Merit transference. Now वो क्या है? No, there what it was Arhan. Right? Bodhisattva is Mahayana. There is now another concept, another issue, that is concept of merit transference. Merit transference. What is this merit transference? It's a simple thing that you people are working, you people are, doing hard work, aspiring for civil services, right? For you, who is keeping fast? Your mother, isn't it? She is keeping fast. So by logic, by keeping fast, she earns merit, and by logic, she should become IS, no? Isn't it? But what she does, by doing fast, she earns merit, and then she transfers to you. This is the concept of merit transference. Then only Bodhisattva will help you, He has earned merit and he will be transferring. He will be suffering for you. Correct? This is concept of merit transference. Is that fine? Mahayana, since a newer thing and newer ideas are coming, and personification and everything is there, new ideas and everything is that way is coming, and obviously one view had come. क्यों भाई रुक, बुद्धा जो हुए थे उससे पहले बुद्धा हो चुके हैं. He was fourth Buddha. And fifth Buddha is yet to come. That means the concept of incarnation had come. आना ही था, आई गई. भाई जब आप personification आप इस तरीके से लेके जा रहे हैं, right? और religion की तरफ घूम गए, that has to come. So somebody had this, said he was fourth Buddha and fifth Buddha is yet to come. And who will be that fifth Buddha? What is his name? No. Who? Metere. Have you heard? Metere. How we will identify him? कैसे पहचानेंगे? So you must have seen one picture of Buddha. This means that that duty time something like is coming, right? But it is protruding part. It is natural. It is not the tying of hair. वो natural है. Second sign, you can check it out here. There will be earlobes will not be attached to his skin. अभी खुले हुए ना? His ears will be attached. If you notice those images, long one, attached. Right? Then his fingers will not have this gap. There will be dove-like. It will be attached. जैसे dove के होते हैं ना, वैसे. So this is how better. Fifth Buddha. Done. So these are the newer concepts are coming in Mahayana. Now, Brahminical religion reached to the climax. Buddhism. Buddhism has reached to climax. And what happened? What is about Vedic religion and Brahminical religion? Struggling. उन्होंने किसी ने कहा बहुत ऐसे काम नहीं चलेगा, कुछ इनोवेटिव आइडियाज लेके आओ. इनोवेटिव आइडियाज लाओ ना यार, ऐसे थोड़ी हो गए स्टार्टअप. Then only you will have something like that. So here begins the revivalism of Brahminical faith. Hence, now the process of cut, copy, paste. Isn't it? Cut, copy, paste means concept of merit transference. Isn't it? Now fast. अभी मैंने कहा ना fast. तो ये तो concept originally concept कहाँ था? Buddhism. अब तो सभी कर रहे. Original that. Now we have borrowed. And something did, and now we are following. Done. Second thing, there were many changes, theoretical, intellectual, many changes. Ritual sacrifices could be cut down here, and then we started focusing on the philosophical aspect. Many things were going on, because now there is a struggle for existence, something like that, isn't it? In this revivalism, now Brahminical religion also believes in the incarnation, अवतारवाद, right? विष्णु भगवान के कितने अवतार? Not विष्णु के. Otherwise you will confuse कि विष्णु कौन है. विष्णु भगवान के कितने अवतार? 10 अवतार. Isn't it? This is how they have also come up with now अवतारवाद system, incarnation. अब वो भी incarnation से बताएंगे. उन्होंने कहा कि तुम्हारे कितने? 5, हमारे 10. 10th is yet to come. And he is Kalki, you all know. And how we will identify? I mean, there are many things. Perhaps he will come on white horse. There are many other things. Okay? So, now, which first avatar? Fish, theory of evolution. Right? Now, this creature has to evolve and has to become human being. So, if you remember theory of evolution, you can tell avatar in a chronological way. So first is fish, matsya. Second, tortoise, land and water. Then boar, vara, only land. This fish has to become man, right? Human being. Then after boar, half man, half animal, Narsimha. Then men, common but dark, Vaman avatar. Then Parshuram, full-fledged, but is very short-tempered, right? And then Ram, then Krishna, and then 9. हो गया काम. क्या यार, Buddha was the 9th avatar of Vishnu Bhagwan. हो गया, done. Isn't it? Yes, isn't it? 9th avatar is who? Not knowing. Fine. So 9th avatar is considered as Buddha. I'm just telling you the history, right? In a different way. ये सारी चीजें लिखनी है पेपर एग्जाम में अगर बाई चांस कहीं क्वेश्चन वोश्चन आ जाएगा. So this is how the avatar, and this is how there is a revival. Further things you will read in history, ancient history, that a time had come that various discrepancies and fallacies had started coming in Buddhism, monasteries, and this is where Buddhists started declining. They reached to climax in 200 BC, 300 AD. 200 BC, 300 AD was the time when trade and commerce of India had reached to climax. India had a favorable balance of trade. Romans were complaining, the entire gold of us is draining into India. It is probably in that time that India was, had become Sone ki chidiya type. This was the time when Buddhism reached to climax, because the major followers of Buddhism were traders. But after 300 AD, we see decline of Buddhism, and we are not surprised that it is coincided with the decline of trade and commerce. Trade and commerce declined, Buddhism declined. Outside invasion. And they will be targeting monasteries, because monasteries were full of huge wealth. Big halls. And the gold was so packed that even a ray of sun cannot enter. So they will be attacking. More and more, ये तो कोई reason ही हुआ fall का. They had some other problems. Buddha had believed in wandering from one place to another, survived on the bhiksha. Discipline खराब हुआ. Isn't it? This is what Buddha believed in, that wandering, whatever you serve, I will survive on that. But once you had huge wealth, so what Buddha had taught? We have forgotten when इतनी सारी wealth है, तो कौन घूमेगा यार? 2 pizzas, 1 burger. This is how discipline was distorted. So you have huge wealth. Women were allowed during Buddha time. Women, wealth, distorting discipline, a deadly combination. And this is where Buddhism declined. And 5th, 6th century AD, now we had one intellectual, very logical person and very strong logic, that is, and he will give death blow to the Buddhism. And now Buddhism has vanished from the, where it originated. Abhi kahan hai Buddhism? Pockets in India and rest of the world. Is that fine? This was not much required, but this is how you can appreciate Mahayana and Hinayan and Bodhisattvas and merit transfer. Right? Within Mahayana, we have now 2 schools. Within Mahayana, one is Shunyavad, which is also known as Madhyamik. Which is also known as Madhyamik school. Main propounder of Shunyavad and Madhyamik school is Nagarjuna. Madhyamik means middle path. Right? And middle path is nothing but Pratyasya Samutpada. You have written one line there. Neither absolutely real nor absolutely unreal. It hung in between. That is nothing, but we will be elaborating here. Shunyavad. Madhyamik. Now, Shunyavad is nothing but Shankaracharya. Whatever Shankaracharya would be saying in his philosophy of Advaitvad, we will see that Shunyavad is nothing but that. Because both are consistent, both are flawless, hence they have to be similarity. Only difference will come in terminologies, which we had one glimpse as we already had. Isn't it? So, of course, because of these reasons, I cannot discuss Shunyavad right now. After discussing Advaitvad, it's just a matter of 10 minutes. It won't consume much time. Right? I mean, it's very difficult for me to move mechanically. Some people say, sir, you discuss. I mean, yeah, I cannot. Everybody has certain weaknesses. तो मैं जो भी बोलूँगा यार वो कुछ समझ में तो आएगा नहीं. तो उसको appreciate करेंगे नहीं. 10 मिनट का ही तो काम नहीं. And Advaitvad, we will be doing it very exhaustively. So, it will be done that. Another school is, we have Vigyanvad. This is Vigyanvad. I can see it here, right? Vigyanvad. Now, Vigyanvad will let down one philosophical system. Which philosophical system we will be reading in Western philosophy? We will see one philosopher, Berkeley. Have you heard his name? Yes, Berkeley was which philosopher? Empiricist. Right? So, I will do first Western. And then we will be doing, of course, Berkeley. After doing Berkeley, this school is nothing more than of 2 minutes. Right now, I just can't explain. Because in Jainism chapter, once you are reading that printed material, at one page they had made a comparison with the Western philosopher. And you have come across with one term, idealism. Many of you ask me, sir, what is idealism? I can't explain you idealism. We will understand in a systematic way. So this school, you just understand, just remember one thing, that this school is nothing but Berkeley. अब इससे इतना याद रखना, ठीक है? Similarly, in Henian also, there are two schools. One is Tantric school or Yogachar school. Again, Western philosopher, we will be seeing Locke. Again, it will not consume more than 2 minutes once Locke is clear. Right? So first I'll do Locke, and then we will again come back to the schools of Buddhism, no problem. I'll come up with all these things. Right? Locke, John Locke, empiricist philosopher. Right? And the another school is Vaibhashik, and of course once we will be doing this, then we will be seeing this also. Not as such any philosophy, it's a combination of all these. So basically what I wanted to say, two things. One is that we have not done schools of Buddhism. At appropriate time, I would be doing them one by one. Shunyavad I will be doing after Advaitvad. Right? So, this is how we will be moving, and at the end of that, we will again take up this schools of Buddhism, and I will be summing up. This is third school. Broadly two schools, Mahayana and Henya. There is third school also, very prominent school, that is Vajrayana. Isn't it? Vajrayana. And what is the characteristic feature of Vajrayana? It's a Tantric. Tantricism. Now look, Tantric, हर चीज का concept होता है, कोई भी चीज बिना concept के होती ही नहीं. Tantricism has come in all the religions. In Brahmanism, in Hinduism, in Islam, in Christianity, in Buddhism, even in Jainism. Tantricism has come. And Tantricism, Vajrayana is a Tantric cult, right? And in Tantricism, they are doing all those things which are strictly prohibited in established religion. In this Tantric cult, they would be doing all those things which are strictly prohibited in established religion. For example, here they will have mass, non-veg, madira, methun, sexual activities, different things which are strictly prohibited in this established religion. Right? Okay. In Tantric cult, chief place will be given to who will be the highest divinity? In Tantric cult, female will be given chief status. In Tantric cult, you must have heard, Kali Kalkatte Wali Mera Vachan. That female divinity is given. In Vajrayana, who is chief divinity? Kalima is Hinduism. In Vajrayana, who is the chief divinity? Tara. Tara. Wives of Buddha. Many Buddhas. Right, so Tara is the chief divinity. Who are these Tantric people? Right? Basically, these Tantric cult are the laggards. They are the laggards. Laggards matlab, in the pace of development, people have reached to that level. Imagine Rig Veda, later Vedic, then 6th century BC, and then unidirectional progress, isn't it? And development means differentiation, inequality, haves and have not. So some people objected this. their resistance to this change, their adaptability is no, and hence they lagged behind in the pace of development. Are you getting my point? So they are the laggards. People have reached there, they are here. Now these laggards want to make up this gap, and they don't have time for 1,000 years or 2,000 years. They want to make up this gap, and they will make up this gap by shortcut, that is magical charm, black magic, tantricism, attaining superpowers, supernatural power, and to reach over there. Basic philosophy है. इसी को चलते हुए लैगर्ड तो हर रिलीजन में है, and hence tantricism has come in almost all the religions. But we will not discuss Vajrayana because there is nothing any such philosophical that way. And the prominent schools have been this, Mahayana and Hinayana, and within this we have 4 schools. So one by one we will take up. Yes.
Shankaracharya wasn't Shunyavadi.
No, he was not Shunya. No. This is Buddhist, no. Shankaracharya was Vedantist. But whatever he would be saying, we will discuss first Shankaracharya. We will see that whatever Nagarjuna says in Shunyavad, that is exactly the same what he is saying. No. They are not. Out of my interest. Right? Shankaracharya had come in 5th, 6th century AD and Nagarjuna had come. I mean, that is not the point of view. Right? So there is a similarity. So once we will be discussing that Vedanta, Shankaracharya, and then we will come. So this ends our Buddhism, the first part. I have yet to discuss the schools of Buddhism. Don't get in tension that one is something like that. Right? Yeah.
So when will we discuss the Ashtanga Mark?
Ashtangik Mark. Ashtangik Mark, there is nothing to discuss. You can just go through that. Those are only simple paths. Right? So you just go through. If anything is not understood, I'll take it. Right? So now Buddhism is over. Tomorrow I'll take up previous year questions of Buddhism, and of course I'll start my next school. Earlier also I have told you, now be prepared for your test. At any point of time I'll take. Okay? Okay, thank you. See you soon.